This is Mike Slater in San Diego, filling in for the great Bill O'Reilly. It's Friday, July 29th, 2022. You're listening to the O'Reilly Update. Here's what's happening today in America. Joe Biden denies that the economy is in a recession. He said it's strong. Joe Manchin agrees to more spending. Super. Crime spirals out of control in New York City. And most older Americans can no longer afford the basics. Also coming up, the message of the day, an inspirational one. But first, Joe Biden denying the economy is now officially entering a recession. New data shows GDP shrinking for the second consecutive quarter. That's the actual definition of recession. Always has been. But the president said, quote, coming off of last year's historic economic growth and regaining all the private sector jobs lost during the pandemic crisis, it's no surprise that the economy is slowing down. But that doesn't sound like a recession to me. And the media fell right in line. After more than a year of, but what do you expect? Merriam-Webster the other day redefined the word woman and girl. So of course they're going to fall in line and redefine recession too. After more than a year of Build Back Better negotiations, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senator Joe Manchin from West Virginia announcing an agreement. The Democrats will spend $433 billion, new taxes, clean energy, and climate change. The legislation also will reduce carbon emissions by 40% in the next 8 years. The bill also allocates $1.5 billion for priorities like planting more trees. This is exactly what got us into our inflation mess and recession. Printing money, spending money, and taxing. That's it. So let's just do more of it, huh? Data from the New York Police Department showing a massive spike in crime across New York City. Since January 1st, major felonies up 37%, car theft up 50%, robberies 39%, home invasions 32%, violent assaults in the subway up 38%. Far-left District Attorney Alvin Bragg recently dropped murder charges against a bodega owner who stabbed an assailant in self-defense. At least there's that. In total, 350 detectives have filed for early retirement so far this year. Who can blame them? A survey from the University of Massachusetts finds 52% of older Americans struggle to pay for basic necessities. Most adults over the age of 55 can't afford essential items like groceries, rent, medication, and transportation. Seniors are saving money by cutting back on former luxuries like travel and dining in restaurants. A third of U.S. households have raided their savings in the last 2 years to cope with rising prices. Unfortunately, it's going to get worse. The message of the day, please vow with me that whenever you hear a story like this, you will share it with everyone you know and you will tell your kids these stories. We need more of them. I'll give one to you next.
This advertisement is paid for by Lacuna Ventures, LLC. For terms and conditions, visit yourrights.legal. Attention! If you or someone you know spent time at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina prior to 1988 and developed serious health conditions such as non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, lung cancer, bladder, breast, or kidney cancer, you may be eligible for significant financial compensation. Call Camp Lejeune victims to discuss your case now at 800-706-9790. Leaking underground tanks contaminated the drinking water with benzene and other highly carcinogenic chemicals, up to 280 times acceptable levels. Marines, their families, contractors, or employees who spent at least 30 days at Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune prior to 1988 and developed a serious health condition, called to determine your eligibility for financial compensation. If you don't win, you pay nothing. It's critical to take action and call now. 800-706-9790. That's 800-706-9790. Again, 800-706-9790.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater, filling in for Bill O'Reilly. Now it's time for the O'Reilly Update message of the day. I will always share stories like this when they happen. It is so important to know these stories, to tell your children these stories of heroism and sacrifice, to know they still exist. The only way to expect any of us to do things like this is to know that it can be done and that it's valued. There was a pizza delivery man in Indiana. He was driving down the street at midnight, saw a house on fire. He ran to the front yard, screamed up to see if anyone was inside, if anyone could hear him. 4 faces popped up in the upstairs window. 4 kids were in the house and the 18-year-old sister. So he ran into the house, rescued the children. But when they got out, there was one more inside. So he went back in to get the baby. But the smoke was so bad on the way out, he had to go upstairs, break a window, and then jump down to the ground with the baby in his arms. When police and firefighters finally arrived, we can tell from the body camera footage, this man is running from the house with the baby in his arms, blood streaming down his arm. There's a moment when he's on the ground and he can barely breathe from smoke inhalation. And an officer's putting him in a tourniquet and says, "This is going to hurt, okay?" And he says, "Go for it." But listen to this. This man is lying on the ground. He's in intense pain because it inhaled all the smoke, just jumped out of a window. But listen to what he's really thinking about.
Is the baby okay? Please tell me that baby's okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, she's okay.
100%? Yep, you're okay.
You did good, dude. Okay.
Did you hear that? The only thing on his mind is the baby okay? And the response from the police officer, "You did good, dude. You did good." Man, I tell you, right behind "well done, good and faithful servant" is "you did good, dude." Nick Bostick has been released from the hospital and everyone is alive. I'll give you another one. Michigan, Lake Huron. It's just the other day, 62-year-old man was on a boat with his 32-year-old son and 9 and 3-year-old grandson. Some wake came from a neighboring boat, knocked the 3-year-old into the water. He was wearing a life jacket. So the 3-year-old goes over, and then dad and grandpa both jumped in. They were not wearing life jackets. And the 9-year-old stayed on the boat, called 911. Well, the 9-year-old got the attention of a passing boat, and that boat pulled the 3-year-old on board. Then pulled his dad on board, and they finally got to the grandpa. But by the time they got to him, he was unconscious. They tried CPR, but he was pronounced dead. So the grandpa died trying to save the life of his 3-year-old grandson. There's no better way to go than that. Seriously, think about that. How'd you die? I died trying to rescue my grandson. Wow. Good for you. He jumped into the lake and tried to rescue me, and he drowned. Wow, what a man. What a hero. Didn't even hesitate. Jumped right in. As if the whole purpose of his life was to rescue you. And you think, oh, but Slater, he didn't rescue his grandson. Pff, doesn't matter. Irrelevant. Died trying. Seriously, if I died in a rescue attempt of my children, don't mourn that for a second. Celebrate the heck out of that. I will always be on the lookout to celebrate heroes like this. We need more of them. And if you want to be like these guys one day, you have to decide now. That way, when the moment comes, you'll be like these men, not even hesitate. Something you might not know coming up next.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-925-7584 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-925-7584. That's 800-925-7584. What do you have to lose? Call 800-925-7584. Again, 800-925-7584.
Hey, it's Mike Slater filling in for Bill O'Reilly. Now it's time for something you might not know. I learned recently that the word sloth doesn't just mean lazy. I mean, it does, but it means more than that too. The Greek root of the word sloth means without care. It's you just don't care about anything anymore. You don't care about your morality. You don't care about the state of your salvation. You have no feelings for the world, the people in it. What's the point of it all? Who cares if I'm sinning? What even is sin? Who cares? There's no God. There's no heaven. There's no hell. You're just without care. In the Iliad, the great warrior Achilles, he won't fight because he's being a little baby. He's having a temper tantrum. So Odysseus gives this epic speech about the great values of honor and glory. And Achilles responds with, one and the same for the man who hangs back and the man who battles hard. The same honor waits for the coward and the brave. Ugh, lame. He doesn't care about the good anymore. Now, often this attitude leads to people doing nothing, hence the idea of laziness as sloth. But it can also lead to people doing bad things and not caring. And it can also lead to people seeing bad things around them and not caring about it. That's sloth too. Sloth means without care. I'll give you an example. Last month, Philadelphia, 3 a.m., 7 kids ages 10 to 14 threw a traffic cone multiple times at a 73-year-old man. He went to the hospital and died from the injuries. Brothers, 10 and 14 years old, and 2 other girls, 12 and 14, were arrested. 10-year-old boy, 12, 14-year-old girl. The 2 14-year-olds have been charged with murder as an adult. They were laughing as they murdered this man. How could this happen? What's going on? Well, among other things, sloth, without care. They had no care for another human life. They had no care for their future. Their families had no care for them. And the culture we created is without care for the good, the beautiful, and the true. So our challenge is to be resensitized to sin, resensitized to the bad things around us. Don't be numb anymore. That way you can fight against evil. And also, you can appreciate the good, beautiful, and the true even more, like the stories of heroism that we shared in the last segment. We need to become resensitized and fight against sloth. More coming up.
Things are tough in the USA right now. Gas prices up 59%, food prices up 10%, and have you taken a look at your cable bill recently? Some of us are paying more than $150 a month. That's why I am excited about the streaming platform Vidgo, V-I-D-G-O. Vidgo gives you the freedom to be entertained at a price you can afford. Vidgo has all my favorite live sports networks. They have a great choice of news programming, including The First, Newsmax, OAN, Fox News. Vidgo also has more than 100 channels of entertainment. All of that for just $59 a month for the base package, $79 a month for premium. You deserve the freedom to be entertained at a price you and your family can afford. So please sign up at vidgo.com/Bill.
MikeSlater.locals.com. Thank you, Bill, for letting me fill in. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you on Monday.